That is right, peoples. Another year has just about passed, which only means it's time for us gamers to bicker over another set of games to give an award that will most likely get forgotten by the time next year's voting rolls around again. Yes sir, we are talking about the one and only Game of the Year awards. Even though there seems to be like 20 different Game of the Year awards every year, but okay. Pessimism aside, this is actually the first year that I voted for Game of the Year, and the only year I have high hopes that my vote actually wins. So in this video, I'll be getting into some of my first picks along with some of the reasoning behind those choices, and with the awards happening in less than a week, only 3 days, I've pushed this video on long enough, so I say let's get this intro aside and let's jump right into the nominees for this year's Game of the Year. Okay, getting right into the nominees, I will say now that I want to focus on the main Game of the Year award for right now, and I will get to the other awards in a second. So there are 6 games to vote for, 6 pretty strong contenders to be fair, well, 4 kind of in my opinion, but first we have Alan Wake 2, an absolutely amazing mind-bending thriller, and the actual reason I'm voting in the first place. Then next we have one of the strongest nominees, being Baldurs Gate 3, an absolutely awesome RPG made by some spectacular developers. Then we have Marvel's Spider-Man 2, a sequel of one of, if not the best modern superhero game. Then we actually have the most recent Super Mario Bros. Game, Wonder, which I honestly have no clue what it's doing on this list, but I'll get to that later as well. Next up on the list is Resident Evil 4, and I will get to my thoughts on Resident Evil 4 as well. But last on the list is Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, another huge game in this lineup, and another one of the big contenders. So my thoughts on this lineup is that I was in fact conflicted on my choice, even though I thought it was going to be pretty obvious. There were 3 big games that I was actually racking my brain between, even knowing I have not personally played 2 of them. Getting the 3 I don't really have confidence in out of the way, and that would honestly be Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, and Super Mario Wonder. Now, I don't want anyone coming at me in the comments for those being my lowest picks. I think they were all great games still, and there is a reason why they made it onto this list. But going into the lowest choice in my opinion, and that would be Mario Wonder. It's just a new Mario, adding a couple of new aspects, and I feel like voting for this Mario game is just like voting for any other Mario game, or as if I was voting for a Call of Duty game that has a new entry every single year that are all pretty similar. Next, Resident Evil 4. I gotta say, I loved the Resident Evil 4 remake. They did such a good job on that game, but it is a remake, and in reality, Resident Evil 4 has been out for over a decade, so giving this game Game of the Year just seems kind of unfair because we've known about this game for a long time. This is just a remake of it. But nevertheless, as I said, amazing remake, and Capcom did an amazing job at that game. And now on to Spider-Man 2, my arguably most controversial low pick, but again, that was a fantastic game. I cannot argue that, but I feel like with the feedback that it got from both fans and critics, it seems like it just doesn't stand up to the other games on the list, at least to Alan Wake 2 and Baldurs Gate 3. But on to what would be my third pick of the list, and that would have to be Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I did not actually play Tears of the Kingdom, but I did watch my brother and my mom play almost the whole game, even helping at certain points, and I think the game was great. It looked great for a Switch game. It played great, it had a great story, the map was huge, but with it being a game that I just never actually see myself playing in full, not to mention the few rumors of how this game, just like the last couple, did not stray far enough from its previous entry, I just feel like I couldn't vote for this game. But now moving on, not to anger anyone else, but on to the 2 games that were the hardest to decide between, being Alan Wake 2 and Baldurs Gate 3. Now, really quick before getting to my top pick, if you are enjoying this video and agree with anything I have to say, go ahead and slap that like button and don't hesitate to subscribe. But I will say, Baldurs Gate 3 is another one of those games that I haven't played, but that should just show how freaking good Baldurs Gate 3 really is. I was fighting myself between a game that I haven't played and my actual favorite game of the decade being the game that brought me here to vote. But see, Baldurs Gate 3 did so many things right. I watched so much gameplay, and I'm still looking forward to putting my own time in. Don't ask me why I haven't yet. But the graphics are amazing, the gameplay looks great, I love the amount of freedom, and who doesn't love a good Baldur's Gate story? Not only that though, the developers behind Baldur's Gate 3 are just wonderful. I mean, the moment I saw the post where they stated they would not add any microtransactions into the game, and those who bought the game are all equal in content, that was just awesome. You don't ever see anything like that nowadays, and I knew from that moment on, it had a high spot on the Game of the Year list. Though, as you can probably tell already, I came to vote for Alan Wake 2, and in the end of the day, it was the game I voted for. Alan Wake 2 was honestly one of my favorite games ever, and the best sequel we could have gotten to my favorite horror game. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time playing, and the worst part of the game was seeing the main menu after finishing. Sam Lake, along with Remedy, came out of nowhere with one of the best stories, one of the best prices, some of the best graphics, and all around one of the best experiences in gaming that I've had in a long while. And I do dare call this game an experience. I've said it before and I will keep saying it. Alan Wake 2 was just fantastic. And I honestly think that it deserves the Game of the Year. In my personal opinion, of course. But there were just so many aspects of that game that I fell in love with, and I couldn't bring myself to vote for any other game than Alan Wake 2. And with the voting coming to an end, I think I shall just wrap this video up with a few final words. So, I don't know if you could tell from earlier in the video, but I honestly don't really care about the Game Awards at all in the end of the day. It doesn't make me think any more or less of the games that win or lose. But after playing Alan Wake 2 and seeing that golden joysticks, I just felt like showing my love for that game in some way, and my measly vote into the Game Awards would have to do it. I also want to reiterate that Baldur's Gate 3 was another top choice for me, being an all-time top-tier RPG. Though, I haven't played it, and I loved Alan Wake just a little too much to stray away. And if you voted for any other options, good on you, and good luck to your games. And if you don't really care about the Game Awards, hey, I get that too. This is the first time I've ever cared, and the first time I ever even voted. But whatever your thoughts, I want to hear them, so drop what you voted for or wish to see, along with what you thought about this video in the comments now. And if you did like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit that like and don't hesitate to subscribe now. And if you really like this video and you want to see your name at the end of every new video to come, be sure to check out a membership to either my YouTube or my Patreon now to support more videos like this. And lastly, if you liked any music in this video and you want to hear more of my home-cooked music, check out BillyTheWhip.com or just Billy the Whip on any music platform now. Now that we're here, don't forget to go get your votes in. Thank you all so much for the support the channel has seen. I'm so sorry for the little hiatus I've been on, but I am back, and I hope all of you have the greatest day ever.
Track, start scrolling, no trolling, like bowling, knocking down pins, down pawns, no folding. Always patrolling when I can, ducking Patron, ops are rolling, my raps tracks, no charging. Maybe I'll be tolling like